Okay, this is going to be the video for this coming week. I'm going to try and go through this as quickly and efficiently as possible. This is what we're going to be focusing on. I'm going to first start with a quick market scan. We're going to talk about the sectors, what's going on. I think Thursday last week was one of the larger days of the 2025 trading year. So we're going to go through different sectors and the market, and then we'll get into individual names that we're going to be focusing on this week. That is going to be the plan. Let's go to the market scan. Let's go to ES and NQ here really quickly. Just kind of set the backdrop. I mean, these have been consolidating since early December, kind of held up by probably the U.S. election, and then we've been kind of consolidating here since. Now, I'm of the likes that I think this is probably distributing. I think this is likely distributing versus reaccumulating at these levels, although it's hard to tell, like it is. I'm not going to call either one distribution versus reaccumulation for higher prices. There are characteristics that give me signs that this is likely redistribution, or like this is likely distribution. One of those signs is just strictly off of volume. Typically with reaccumulation, you like to see a big spike in volume. So I'll try and draw like a big spike in volume, and then you see volume subsequently, I guess decreasing is the word I'm looking for, and then you see it increase again, and then and then price goes higher. Um, with distribution ranges, you're likely going to see more spikes in volume throughout the range. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. We're seeing spikes in volume, lots of volume coming in within this range, and they're doing their best to hold this up so that they can fill at the highest prices possible and distribute their shares. I am leaning towards distribution now. Whether Thursday was a big day because we tested that bottom of the range both on ES and NQ. Now I think there's a few scenarios that can happen. I think, scenario one is it rejects, 6,000 maybe on ES, and then, we are late stage distribution, and then we do break down. I could see price fully, fully, fully trading back through the rest of the range. I could totally see that, sucker more people in long for the final like false breakout and then this thing tanks. Totally could see that. I think that thesis is a little bit more valid just given how much volume we had retesting this bottom of the range here on ES. Um I'd give it like a 60-40 probability. I think a closure above this, maybe even like a closure right at 6,200 is the final thing where this thing, you know, suckers in as many people along as possible, final distribution, and then this thing just tanks. I think that's more likely. I think that's probably what's going to happen, but we'll keep going. But yeah, there is totally the scenario where this could reject just 6,000, and then this false breakout was the one that I'm talking about. This totally could be the false breakout that is able to send this down. I'm just not quite sure if it's happening yet. So that's gonna be a little bit of a backdrop. Same exact thing on NQ. Same exact thing. You're gonna see a decent amount of volume coming in, holding this 2750 level. Whether the indices breakdown is really big for our individual names. Anyways, I think the weakest sector right now is XLK. I think XLK is barely holding on. Um, Same thing with XLK. You can see it's right at the extreme of the range. Like we are in a critical, critical, critical spot on ESNQ, XLK, which is the tech sector, Mag 7 essentially. Critical spot. And if Mag 7 gives out, I mean, this NVIDIA short is going to be awesome, 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 awesome. Um, I think we're going to be targeting the NVIDIA short no matter what, but just quickly run through the sectors. I think XLK is very close. Um, this is a pretty bullish candlestick defending this as support, but this could easily break down. Um, so we're watching XLK for a breakdown and specifically on NVIDIA as well. Financials, I don't think they're ready yet. They're kind of in their like, phase B, just the longer phase of distribution is not ready to break down. Um, but I'm not going to be longing any of financials right now. So we're really just going to ignore the financial sector. I don't care. It's just going to continue consolidating, which I think it'll eventually break down potentially. I'm not quite sure, but it's within its range. I don't really care. Discretionary, I think this looks like it could break down, but I think it's going to likely do exactly what XLP did. XLP had that breakdown where you saw that initial like distributive move, you saw the breakdown right here, and then it eventually came all the way back up and it's retesting the top of the range. I kind of think that's going to happen with discretionary. If you look at it, it just doesn't look like it's ready to distribute. This could be like a false breakdown right here, and I think it's actually going to recover. Maybe distribute one more like close above, and then it'll go or something like that. I just don't think discretionary is ready, so I'm not trying to get into um, any real decisive like directional moves within XLY. I think it's actually going to go up. I just don't like any of the setups in here. Like Home Depot's kind of in the middle of its range. McDonald's middle of its range. Lowe's is doing kind of nothing. I don't really care. It looks like it's actually going to get back into its range. It's back into its range on Lowe's. Back within here, huge range by the way. Don't really care. I mean, I think Nike's going to keep I think Nike looks the most bullish in this list. I just think it's going to continue in the range. Carnival, if XOY does end up breaking down, it did break down here, but if it doesn't recover, if this is the breakdown and it continues to the downside, I think Carnival is going to be our main downside vehicle within XOY. So watching that. Healthcare, I think this is going to be an awesome short vehicle, just not ready there yet. Very nice bearish context right there. We never retested this low again down here, and we're kind of just, I think this is redistributing here, especially with this volume characteristics. Here's your spike you'd usually see with reaccumulation, but you're seeing multiple spikes within this range. And I think, XLV, any of the healthcare names are going to look real bearish here soon, just not ready yet. Like Eli Lilly's just going, UNH, J&J, AbbVie's going. The only one that looks like somewhat range bound is BMY, and I think BMY to the downside looks awesome. Again, super bearish trend down. Never retest these lows again. It's redistributing here. So BMY is going to be an awesome short vehicle here soon. XLV is going to be a great short vehicle here soon, just not ready yet. XLP, I don't really care. It's at the top of the range. I'm not really willing to take any trades. Well, it's not at the top of the range there. It's at the top of the range, but not really willing to take any trades within, the middle of the range. The middle of the range is where price is going to spend, 96% of its time. It's like that normal distribution bell curve or whatever. Like if you look up the normal distribution, and that's exactly what this fixed range volume profile is. It's going to show you where, 95 or I think it's 96%. Uh, Normal distribution bell curve. What's like 96%? 95.44 within the two extremes. So it's going to keep trading within these extremes. I don't really care in XLP, so I don't really care to be, directional in any of these XLP names. If anything, I think it's likely maybe going to break down here soon. I'm just not quite sure, so I don't really care. XLC kind of, starting to make some kind of range. I don't care. XLB, really nice redistribution range, nice bearish context, nice bearish downtrend from 96 to 80, never retest these lows, redistributing. I think this is going to look awesome here soon. I do like Lin, SCHW, and APD as the best shorts. It's just not ready yet, so I don't care. XLE, I think it looks really nice from a bullish perspective. It's just not ready, so I don't care. Um, XLI, middle of the range, don't care. XLRE is looking like it's going to be an awesome redistribution zone. It just needs to make some kind of range. It's just grinding higher, doing absolutely nothing. So whenever this does make a range, this is a very nice bearish trend down. It's just retesting previous lows. So XLRE looks awesome short, just not ready yet. Utilities, same range. I don't care. So biggest one that's closest to breaking out in sectors is XLK. Whether XLK, this is the true breakdown, and this is like the LPSY or the last point of supply events. I'm not quite sure. Um, if we pull up the notes like right here, if this is the LPSY events, um, retesting retesting support throughout here, and then if this fails, we're looking for that failure confirmation to the downside. Then I think this is ready to go. I think this is ready to go. So, really main targets this week are going to be shorts. I think of this Nvidia short is an unbelievable setup. I really do think this Nvidia short's an unbelievable setup. I think if price shows me a 4-hour confirmation to the downside, so what I'm looking for is an SOW bar, so a sign of weakness. I would like price to at least retest this previous low, and if it shows a nice fluid, this would be a very wide range, no wick, very bearish candlestick. I'm looking for that type of candlestick, and then we'd be risking above, this 128 level. So, um, right at the ice or the like last support level here on Nvidia. So I think Nvidia, and that's really a function of if XLK breaks down also. So, um, a lot of the XLK names look like shit, but if Nvidia is able to reclaim this 128, no trade, no trade. We're looking for a sign of weakness candle, and TSM kind of plays into that. Just another semiconductor name. It's in pretty much the exact same spot as Nvidia, retesting this kind of like last line in the sand essentially before price really gets into a downtrend. So that's gonna be pretty much it. Roku, since Roku, this is kind of the same logic I took the CRSP trade. CRSP found resistance right here. It broke above. It found support right here. Um, and then it rejected right here. So that's really the reason why I took the CRSP trade. It was kind of didn't really plan it a ton, but the only pretty much logic behind it was it rejected previous extreme support on previous extreme, rejected it, nice very bearish candlestick, and then really just playing to the bottom of the range. So I'd be looking for something like this on Roku, just playing to the bottom of the range. We're back within the normal distribution curve, so I would expect price to at least maybe retest 38. So it's not some huge trade on CRSP. I'm just looking for to continue to the downside, maybe test the bottom of the extreme here at 36.50. I think that'd be a really nice trade, but risking a candle closure above this 45.75 level essentially. So, um, yeah, same thing on Roku. Roku, you saw that. I'll delete this fixed range volume profile. Roku, you saw that price had rejected this level and then is coming back, rejecting this level again. If price comes back retest this and then goes, I'd be looking for a short trade, basically just to the bottom of this extreme, the bottom of this range. So potentially on a Roku short, I mean, it's nothing like to get super excited about, but I'd be looking for some kind of sign of weakness candle rejecting 86 with the idea of this trading back to um, the other, like essentially side of this bell curve, probably around like 76.83. Um, on Roku. But really looking at the short side, I think Amazon, Google, all these XLK names look good. MRVL, I think this could look really nice ahead of earnings. I think earnings are Wednesday this week. If MRVL shows us some, nice pattern back into previous support, I would potentially consider taking a trade short ahead of earnings. Not quite sure. It really depends on the beginning of the week. So yeah, I mean, markets are pretty frothy. I mean, we haven't gone anywhere essentially. We've been in the same range since December, and that's really the lack of trades recently. I mean, we've been trading. I mean, I don't think this is the time to super be risk on. I mean, let the indices choose what direction we're going. Now, I have a bias. I think it's going to go the short side, but I'd rather it confirm before taking anything, aggressive. So yeah, that'll do it. If price breaks this range this week, that'll be kind of exciting. That'll be, I think it's more likely that we rip. I do think we rip to 6,200, and everyone just gets trapped long. And I think that scenario, I think that would just crush some people, and I think that's the most likely. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for this week. Nvidia short, wow, wow, wow. I mean that setup looks fantastic. That is a setup I would take every single day. That's a setup what a lot of my examples that I've been practicing with look like. So yeah, we're looking for a sign of weakness bar here on Nvidia. I'm gonna be going in with fairly good size, probably targeting some kind of March or April expiration. So that'll wrap it up for this video. NVIDIA and TSM are probably our main ideas. Roku and MRVL are probably on the side, watching for XLK to break down, watching how the indices react to touching that lower extreme, whether they hold or not. That's kind of where we are. So that'll do it.